Hello, welcome to day 2 of the training. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's training, and today we're going to be talking all about categories. So, one of the most important things to know for new sellers is which categories are the best and easiest to start with, and which products you want to avoid, at least until you have more experience. In this training, I'm going to walk you through those categories and products to make sure that you're set up for success right from the beginning. So, why would you not want to sell in some categories on Amazon, especially when starting off? Well, here are some reasons why. One could be there's not enough sales in a particular category. Think about handmade products, soaps or candles, for example. Those typically don't get large sales on Amazon and would limit your success. There are some categories that have products you can't private label. And examples of that would be Amazon Echo or Amazon Alexa or collectible items. And if you can't private label a product, you can't create your own brand. In addition, there are some categories which aren't physical products. For example, digital products like Kindle books or digital music or video games. And then lastly, some categories have products that have a lot of variations, in particular clothing, which, because you need to have stock in different sizes as well as different colours, you could have to spend crazy amounts of money on a range of stock so that you can compete with the competition. So, how about some categories that are much better for starters? On the screen, you'll see 16 categories on Amazon that have little to no restrictions for new sellers at all. They're all very good, some of them larger than others. Some of the smaller ones, like musical instruments, are quite easy to get into. You can find some quite good niches in there, and then source suppliers without too much difficulty. Others, such as kitchen and dining, pet supplies, sports and outdoors, they're all much larger, but that's nothing to be afraid of, because the larger the top category, then the larger the number of subcategories, and then subcategories below those subcategories. So plenty of scope for success in this range of categories. Now, in addition to those 16, there's also these extra categories. That's the automotive, the grocery and gourmet food, beauty and personal care, and then health and household. And these are also categories which you can sell in, but they have some products and some subcategories in them that require approval first. So let's talk a little bit more about these categories that require approval. Automotive and grocery are called gated categories, and you need to get permission from Amazon in order to be allowed to sell in them. And in order to get permission, you have to have invoices from your supplier ahead of time, which means you have to have purchased the stock and received invoices before you even know if you're allowed to sell in that category, which can be a lengthy, rather complicated and expensive process. Now, once you've been selling for a while, it's actually a lot easier to get approved by Amazon because they see that you have a lot of selling history and they make the whole process a lot easier. Next, let's talk about the gated subcategories that can occur in health and household or beauty and personal care. Some subcategories and even some individual products are gated and require approval from Amazon. And unfortunately, Amazon doesn't publish a list of these specific products or subcategories for us to look at and know what we can or cannot sell. So, if you still want to sell in a gated category or subcategory, remember you will need to get approval from Amazon first before you commit to a stock purchase. Now, in addition to understanding which categories are the best to get started in, there are also certain types of products that you'll want to avoid, at least for your first product. Now, why would we have a specific list of products to avoid? Well, there are several reasons. One could be oversaturation. There are simply too many high-level sellers in those markets. Also, some products could have patent issues, or there could be lots of other reasons such as hazmat issues, import issues, liability issues, or they require special certification like FDA approval. And avoiding these products, especially for your first product, is going to save you a lot of time and potentially a lot of money. Now, the last thing to cover are products that you should use caution with when selling. It doesn't mean that you can't sell these, it's just that you need to make sure that you understand the potential pitfalls. The first type would be products that are easily breakable or that are fragile. And the reason you want to use caution there is because glass or other fragile products tend to have high return rates, which also results in negative reviews, and that can definitely limit your ability to sell and make a lot of money. Now, if you do want to sell a product that's breakable, it's recommended that you have packaging that can adequately protect it, so that if something does happen and it gets dropped, it still doesn't break your product. There are also products that have potential hazmat issues. Now, if you want to know what a hazmat issue is, they're typically products that are flammable, combustible, or they contain lithium-ion batteries. And the reason you want to use caution is because Amazon does limit the number of hazmat products that they will store in their warehouses, and they may require special tests before they let you stock and sell them. And when Amazon ships them out, they can usually take more than just a few days to get to some locations because they have to go by ground transportation only. Another type of product to use caution with are products that have multiple variations. These are products that simply have different versions of the same product being sold on the exact same product listing. Examples would be products that have multiple colors or sizes or features, or may be sold in multiple quantity packs like 2s, 4s or 6s. Now, the reason for caution is, first off, when trying to choose your product on Amazon, you don't necessarily know which of these variations and combinations that are selling the most. Also, if you do want to sell a product that has multiple variations, it can be expensive if you go out there and try and purchase multiple sizes, colours and quantities in order to have all those things covered when you're launching your product. If you do decide to sell a product that has multiple variations, go for something that has only 1 or 2 variations to start with. You'll also want to use caution when selling products that plug into an outlet. You could have potential product liability issues if something goes wrong and, let's say, it starts an electrical fire. Make sure you have a supplier with excellent product quality and make sure the product is the highest quality available. Amazon may also require some safety certifications for certain products to allow you to sell them. Again, if you want to sell these, just make sure that you have those 3 bullet points covered and you should be fine. Replacement parts are another type of product to use caution with, and the reason for this is because consumers generally prefer original manufactured parts, meaning it could be harder to sell your replacement part than an original. Plus, there could be potential patent and trademark issues, and you're tied to the success of the main product that you're replacing. Examples would be printer cartridges or water filters, which is why you want to use caution if you're going to try and sell replacement parts. Product accessories are the same story as replacement parts. Things like phone cases or fitness watch bands. Those have done well in the past. However, you want to use caution because you're still tied to the success of the main product. And should that product become discontinued or fall out of favour, then you're left with a whole lot of stock for a product that's no longer selling very well. So if you are going to sell an accessory, we recommend you do it with something that's rather generic, like coffee filters, and something that can be used for more than just one specific product. Pesticides can also be a problem to sell on Amazon, as they don't allow any pesticide or product containing a pesticide to be sold unless you are based inside the United States. And in order to get approved, it can be a rather complicated process. Even using pesticide-related words in your listing can cause that listing to be blocked and taken down by Amazon. These are called trigger terms and are words like antibacterial, disinfected, antimicrobial, microbial, pests, bacteria, mildew, and mold. Avoid using any of these terms at all times, even if your product is not a pesticide, because it could cause your product to be taken down, at least until you can convince Amazon that it's not a pesticide. Baby products can also cause issues. It's not that you can't sell them, it's just that they require something called a child protection certificate. Not all of them, but many of them do. Now, it's not terribly difficult to get the certificate, but if you do decide to sell a baby product, Amazon may request this from you. Another product type to really avoid is any that have patents. There's no other way around it. This includes things like Disney or other large, massive brands like Apple or Google. You simply want to avoid selling their products because not only could it be patent issues, but it could be trademark as well. And finally, if you want to sell medical devices on Amazon, you'll also need to get approval because that's what Amazon requires. And unfortunately, Amazon does not give us a specific list of what they consider to be medical devices, nor do they give us a definition. But basically, if it's anything medically related, just be prepared that Amazon will consider it to be a medical device, and they'll want you to be approved by them before they'll let you sell it. For an example, a posture corrector they consider to be a medical device, even though it's sold all over the world and it's basically a belt that you wear around your waist. And that's it. We've made it to the end of day 2's training. Well done to everybody who's followed so far. We've covered categories for success, categories to use with a little caution, how to use that caution, and categories to absolutely avoid. And so, tomorrow we talk all about choosing your first product to sell on Amazon. What makes a good first product? What are the criteria you need to have? And much more. And also, please don't forget to comment below this video. Share your thoughts and questions. Let's keep the conversation flowing and ideas coming. See you tomorrow. Bye all.